Welcome to our regular meeting of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, January 23rd, 2020, 6 p.m. I'd like to ask Pastor Terry Arnold from the Pentecostal of East Ridge to come forward, lead us in our invocation and our pledge. If everyone would stand, please.
Can we bow our heads, please? Heavenly Father, we come before you tonight very grateful in our hearts and thankful for the goodness of God to our lives personally, and thankful, Lord, for your goodness and your blessings upon our city, upon our county, and upon our state. We ask you, Lord, to lead and guide this meeting tonight. We thank you for the councilman, our mayor, all of our leaders tonight, and we ask your blessing upon them. May this meeting be a place of peace, and may your Holy Spirit guide each and every deliberation. We ask in the wonderful name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Arnold. Roll call, Ms. Mills. Sorry. Right, just take a drink.
Mayor Williams.
Here.
Vice Mayor Hilton. Here. Councilmember Cagle.
Here.
Councilmember Chauncey.
Here.
Councilmember Witt. Here. City Manager Dorsey.
Here.
City Attorney Litchford.
Here. Underneath item 4, consent agenda, I'm sure that everyone has had a chance to read through the minutes of January 9th regular council meeting and December 29th financial report. I'll entertain a motion for the consent agenda.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
We have a motion to approve by Council Member Witt and a second by Vice Mayor Hilton. Do we have any discussion? Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Hilton. Yes. Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Chauncey.
Yes.
Councilmember Witt.
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. Item number 5, communication from citizens. This is an opportunity for any citizen, business owner to come forward and address the council with any, none, we have none, to address the council with any questions or concerns. We have none that's actually signed in. So I'll see if anyone in the audience would like to come forward at this time. I see no one, and I'll move on into communication from council members. I will start this side. Councilmember Cagle, do you have anything?
Yes, sir. I'd like to tell everybody, the ones that don't know, that Cotton Patterson's wife, Agnes, has passed away. So they're not going to have a service, from what I understand, for donated her body to science. And we're going to bring her back February the 8th and have a little celebration of life there. And also, we've had citizens to die in East Ridge. How I met the lady is through a girl named Miss Fran Jeffries, who lives up on Gibson Street, one of our complaints about a ditch. But anyway, her mother died. She's 102 years old, so she passed away today. So I don't know none of the arrangements on her, but let's keep Esther in our prayers, because Esther was part of the garden club out here for years and years and years. She finally gave it up. So that's what I got to say today.
Thank you, sir. Yes. Thoughts and prayers of both families during this time. Vice Mayor Hilton.
I actually go to church with Esther Jeffries, and I know that visitation is going to be Friday from 4 to 8. Call the funeral home though, and I know the funeral's going to be on Saturday.
Did you say you have a time on Saturday? You don't know? That's fine. I didn't know if you knew or not. Okay.
I read it, but I don't.
Okay. Councilmember Chauncey. Councilmember Witt.
I would like to ask the council if we could explore a grant that we just found out about today. It's for the Complete Camp Committee grant. It's up to $10,000, not to exceed that, but we do not want to apply for $10,000 because we're not sure exactly how we're going to be able to use the money. But we'd like to apply for $5,000, used to reach the hard-to-get population count, and explore options that will utilize these funds so that if we have to spend money after April the 1st, that money would be reimbursable. I believe you said it was 100% reimbursable, but we just want to explore the options of whether or not this is something that we may can get our money back if we spend it.
Yes, Mayor and Council, this just came to us yesterday. Been looking over the information about it. From what I can tell, it's 100%, and we get the money up front, but we won't know until April 1st if we get the funding or not. So I don't know if Councilmember Witt discussed any of the options that we have, but printing options, basically you're trying to reach your hard-to-reach constituents, like non-English speaking, anybody else like that. So that's kind of what we're looking at.
Any questions?
I don't have any concerning the grant. Does anyone else? I was actually discussing with the attorney how to insert it.
Exploring it, since it's not gonna cost us nothing, it's 100%. So if we can get it for nothing, let's get it.
Do you need to entertain a motion to add it to the agenda, or?
Yes, what we want to do at this point, because we're actually in it, let's add it to the agenda and then take it up for consideration.
And Attorney Litchford, I do apologize. I do not have the resolution written up, but it would basically be allowing us to do some exploration as far as if we do apply to utilize the funds no more than $10,000. That's the maximum of this grant. So, and if
What I would ask when we do this, because I know you told the past practice here that I've noticed is the fact that you apply and accept the grant in the same resolution. A lot of other places don't do it that way, which I think is great because it saves a step. But here, if we just give permission on this one to apply for it, just break it up this time, have permission to apply, and then once it's accepted, we can bring it back for approval of this body, and so you'll know the amount at that time. And if for some reason it's more than we want, or whatever, just because they offer to, doesn't mean you have to take it. That way, we would know when that time comes that that's acceptable when we get to that.
And we know we're not going to ask for the 10,000, 5,000 is the most we're going to ask for.
And who is the offering the grant?
it looks like it's through OJP, so this would be, I think, federal money, but funneling through the state. Because the email address that you applied to was the OJP email address, and we have applied for funding before the burn grant that we get every year. And that's another thing we do have to do as well. We have to disclose that we get funding from OJP. But they will take consideration first and foremost for those that are the hard to reach constituents for the grant. We talked about maybe doing some flyers with some different languages such as Spanish and Bosnian is some that we know that we have here in Eastridge to send to the kids to take home, because hopefully the parents will at least see what's coming home in the kids' backpacks, especially the elementary school kids. And then maybe we can reach them that way and would have, like, for more information, please contact with some information. We may even do a day where we sign up people. We'll have some laptops for those people to fill out the information online. So we've got a couple of options. The only thing we know for sure we cannot spend it on is for salaries. So it would go for printing materials, education materials, training, things like that. And as far as I know too, it's from April 1st to June 30th. So you cannot do any activities prior to that, or they won't be considered.
This is the Office of Justice Program, so it'd be the one offering it.
Yes.
All right, so the Office of Justice Program is the one offering the grant program. Okay. Well, Council, what this would be, my notes here would be to place on the agenda a resolution which would be 3017. Would be a resolution of City Council, City of Eastridge, authorizing the city to apply for the Federal Office of Justice Program grant. And I'll read that out when we come to it.
And if you want to add complete census grant. That is what
Complete
Complete
count
count.
grant.
Okay, so the Office of Justice Program Complete Count
2020, if you want to add the year.
2020 grant.
Because there are several programs under the OJP that falls within this application timeframe. And it also didn't specify having a resolution from a governing body to apply for as well, so.
Specify having to have that one?
It's, what I could tell from the application was the purpose and need, budget, and kind of how we were going to measure our findings. If we were going for a certain number of people to sign up, or a certain number of people to reach in order to get them to sign up. So we did have to have some quantitative measurements.
Okay. And generally, council, well, at least it's been our practice for the last 4 years, almost 4 years, is we like to memorialize all actions taken by the council, so that's why we put it in the form of a resolution. It just helps us for record keeping. If there's ever a question later, was there a resolution authorizing? We're not spending it, we're just authorizing application for it at this point. So I'm comfortable adding this to the agenda. We've got the caption for it, we just don't have the resolution, but the resolution will essentially be authorizing her to apply for this OBJ Complete Count 2020 grant.
Yes, and it will just be a bare bones resolution, like Attorney Litchford said, and would not be going, we can say to the maximum amount of 10,000 if it was 6,000, but our understanding is we probably won't go over 5,000 of that.
Okay, so as part of this, Councilman, are you comfortable with me adding as like in an amount up to 5,000? Okay, that way we've made it clear that's what we're going for. So when we get to, it'll be item, to provide that it gets placed on the agenda, it would be to place resolution number 3017 on the agenda, which would be a resolution of the City Council, City of East Ridge, Tennessee, authorizing the city to apply for the Federal Office of Justice Complete Count 2020 grant up to the amount of $5,000.
And it's Office of Justice Programs.
I'm sorry, I have Office of Justice Program.
Right.
And can we slot that before the agenda for next meeting? That makes sense. That's always going to be last.
Sure, we could that, or if you wanted to make it as the new item D and push the discussions down, just, it does not matter, whichever place you want to put it. If you want to stay consistent and keep it with the resolution portion of the meeting, we can make it as item 9D. It's however y'all want to.
That's fine. And then we can change, move D to E and then E to F.
All right, so the motion would be to modify the agenda to incorporate a new resolution in 9D, resolution 3017.
Okay. You made that motion?
Yes.
Do I have a second? Any discussion? Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Hilton.
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson.
Yes.
Councilmember Webb. Mayor Williams.
Yes.
And I would like to thank Ms. Bowers because she jumped on this immediately. We got it late, and thank you for.
Thank you.
And I'll come back to the council once we applied for and if we hear from it, because the contract would start April 1st, so we will keep council apprised.
If we come back for approval, then we can.
Correct.
I'm splitting it up.
For those that may not know, it's, again, this is just a practice we adopted about 4 years ago too. While there's no action being taken on a purchase, I still like this council memorialize any resolution, any action it takes. It helps for record keeping as well as more transparency purposes. So that's why I'm comfortable adding it tonight. You're authorizing or just something that you, in the past did without the blessing, only came to you all when it was time to approve the grant. We're now doing it on the front end and the back end.
And I got
Thank
one
you.
other thing, if I can.
Yes, absolutely.
I just wanted to remind everybody that the Optimist Club is having a speaker on the census. If you're not familiar with the census or want more information on the census, we will have a speaker on the 28th, January the 28th at 6:30 at the community center. And they're also interested in people wanting to work for the census, $19.50 an hour. So if you're interested or know somebody, have them come to that meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. First thing I'd like to do is, I'd like to bring Bob Neville forward. He's here with the RAM Clinic. He's got some information he'd like to provide to us. We had a very, very successful and productive clinic, and I'll let you explain the details. Thank you, sir.
I appreciate it. I'm Bob Neville with the Hamilton County / East Ridge RAM Post Group. We invite the folks from Knoxville to bring their equipment down so that we can provide free medical, dental, and vision care to the less fortunate in our community. So during the two-day clinic, November 15th and 16th, we saw 933 patients, extracted 1,116 teeth, billed 304 teeth, 45 cleanings, manufactured 337 pairs of eyeglasses on site for a valued total care of $478,884. Value of service that we go ahead and put a value for each one of the services given. But this is the third one that you folks have allowed us to hold at Camp Jordan Arena. And so the aggregate for those amounts are 2,633 patients, 3,786 extractions, 749 fillings, 267 cleanings, 1,029 pairs of eyeglasses manufactured on site for a total value just a little bit less than 1.3 million.
Wow.
So what our group would like to do is present each of you of appreciation. And every time we have a clinic, we will go ahead and do a good deeds recognition in the Sunday paper following that. And the first thing that we say, first and foremost, the City of East Ridge administration graciously offered the use of Camp Jordan Arena with the assistance of its Parks and Recreation staff. And I've got to thank Adam and his staff. And they've always been outstanding in terms of giving us support, because a facility is one thing, but if you don't have the support of the staff, that makes it a little bit more challenging. And I can tell you the first one we had in 2012, Stan Braddock, the founder of RAM, walked in the door, the big folding doors. He looked around Camp Jordan Arena and said, this is a perfect venue for a RAM clinic. But anyway, let me go ahead.
Well, he's hitting those out. Thank you very much, Bob. And it goes to say, and you've heard me tell you this, we're just hosting. You and the volunteers and the staff that comes and dedicates their time and their effort to this is commendable. You are the reason that this occurs, and your team. We just simply provide a place for it to occur. And we thank you for all that you do for our community. Very much so. Council, feel free if anybody else wants to say anything. This is amazing. Thank you, sir.
Proper return request will be used. This is typically a 2-year cycle, so we'll come in 2021, so come back and ask.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much. One other thing I wanted to mention too, was several things I got. Ronald McDonald House, Run for Kids occurred Saturday. That was a great turnout, even though it was very cold and wet and rainy. We had Rusty from Red Wolves were there, and we had Louis from the Lookouts was there. There was a lot of Best Dressed Awards occurred. Greg Funderburg from Channel 9 was there, so it was a great time. It was all for a great cause for the Ronald Mental House and celebrating families that had been there, and Ronald Mental House had provided housing for them during times that their family members were in need of surgery and stuff. So it was a great cause. And that occurred in Camp Jordan. It was awesome. Today I attended the East Ridge Middle School Spelling Bee, and we've got amazing children that's coming forward into our future and to lead us brightly into the future. I do believe every time I go to the schools and see that. But Gracie Crabtree, 8th grader, she went 6 rounds into the spelling bee and didn't miss a spelling word that was given to her. It was amazing. She did a great job. Now her and 4 others, the top 5, will now participate in a zone spelling bee on February the 13th. So I was very honored to judge and participate in that today.
And curiosity, you know what the winning word was? Just curious.
I wrote it down, but I forgot. I definitely couldn't spell it, that's for sure. These ladies and guys, they were amazing, the words that they were cranking out. I struggled just getting a good spell check to find it, let alone type it right myself. The other thing I want to mention is, and we just handed this today, or this week, so it's out on the website, correct? So we're going to see this great monthly report that city manager and staff put together, giving us an update of what's going on in our city monthly. So thank you, kudos to you and your staff. And as usual, I got to bring our great city library in. Remember, the 24th is our family night movie. Get ready to snap your fingers with the kookiest family on the block. No movie titles. Popcorn and drinks will be served, and that is a free program. Also, the library is looking for teen advisory board volunteers, ages 12 to 18. They're going to meet the first Monday of each month at 4. And as a member, you'll be able to earn volunteer and credit hours that can be listed on your college or job applications. And they need this board to help provide input and suggestions for the movies, books, music, and programs that they'd like to see in the library. And it's a great opportunity to make friends, cultivate their leadership, and improve the community with partnering with the library. And I was told that, and there's also going to be pizza. So that's good. It's always a winner. And then last for me is Meet the Mayor. That's going to be this Saturday the 25th, 10 a.m. at Wally's. And the guest speaker is going to be our police chief, Stan Allen. Thank you, sir, for doing that. I think that's all that I have.
Thank you.
Mr. Dorsey?
Single thing on.
Really?
Thank you.
I'll try harder next time.
Yes, thank you. Just want to announce that from what I've been told, and I believe our leaf trucks have already made their first pass through all the way through the city, and they're working on round 2. So we finally overcame the obstacles we were having there, so I'm so glad that we're finally all the way through the city and working our way back. I also announced that, I think Ashley Hewitt, you hiding? I announced that he's been promoted to our patrol lieutenant. I just want to congratulate him. Thank you, Ashley. Is he our new Clint for the, all right. There we go. Sorry for that comparison, Ashley, I apologize. That's it, yeah. Okay, the signage over at the tunnels, we talked about that, that was brought up last week. We've been sort of brainstorming with that to figure out the best way to handle it. The mayor came up with an idea of maybe we need one of those things before Germantown Road that has, I call them what do you call them, the little strips that truck may have to hit before it goes through, or there needs to be a sensor for it. I didn't remember there was being a sign on 24 downtown coming this way, but I guess apparently there is. But there's nothing once you get off the exit for it. So instead of just complaining to them, we're trying to make sure when we do, I'm planning on meeting with Landing, Castleberry, and TDOT, to make sure we have some solutions, or recommended solutions, what we want for both sides of the tunnel to handle the problem. So we are still working on
Because it is a state road, so we have to work with
exactly.
TDOT.
Yes. So we are working through that. And finally, we had a good story. We had Channel 9 came out to our animal shelter earlier this week.
Oh, yeah.
And they're doing a, like an adopt a dog sort of series, right, Kenny? And with that, they are featuring one of our dogs. I cannot begin to repeat. I can't remember the dog's name. That's what I get. But it's supposed to appear, the segment's supposed to appear this Saturday morning, Channel 9's morning show. I think it's the show that's on at 6 a.m. and it may repeat around 6 p.m. So just be on the lookout for that.
I've already seen it on social media. I noticed it today.
Oh, okay. No, no, no. And that's all I have.
Thank you, sir. All right, we will move to old business. We have item A, ordinance number 1122.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee to amend the fiscal year 2020 operating budget, ordinance number 1105, for various revenues and expenditures and to designate a portion of the fund balance to be used.
This will be the second and final reading. No changes? Okay. All right, I will entertain a motion for ordinance number 1122.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 1122.
I'll second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Witt and a second by Councilmember Chauncey. Do we have any discussion? Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Elton. Yes. Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Chauncey.
Yes.
Councilmember Witt.
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. Ordinance passed, second and final reading. Item B, ordinance number 1123.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee to amend the zoning regulations and the zoning map of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee so as to rezone the property located at 1509 McDonald Road, tax map number 169M-H-018 from R1 Residential District to C2 General Commercial District.
This also would be second and final reading for 1123. Do we entertain a motion for ordinance number 1123?
I make a motion to approve ordinance 1123.
All right, we have a motion from Councilmember Witt and a second from Vice Mayor Helton. Do we have any discussion?
Yes, sir. Did we get a letter from the guy about it being tore down? Or any kind of restrictions that we asked for? I think Mr. Chauncey's one that asked for it.
So essentially, Councilman Cagle, we did not receive a letter. I believe that they have agreed to work towards that resolution, but however, we cannot tie the rezoning of a separate parcel to any kind of construction demolition on a property not in question for the current rezoning.
Okay. And, this week I was told by a citizen, are you the gentleman that owned it back about election time, before election?
You're talking about 1503
Waverly.
Waverly. Mr. Patel's affiliated with the corporation that owns the Waverly,
Okay.
has for many years.
Member of the neighborhood down there came to me and asked me because they were trying to get a petition together to put the liquor store on the ballot, and they didn't get it put together, so it didn't go on the ballot. So what I'm trying to say is, this gets past commercial tonight, that they're planning on building a liquor store on that commercial lot.
That couldn't happen currently,
So
sir.
the answer is no.
Not unless the city was to allow liquor stores, that would be.
But I'm saying if he gets his petition up to get it put on the ballot, because it don't take very many signatures to do it, so.
Right. Well,
He has no plans for what I'm asking.
there is no tenant lined up for a liquor store at this time, no, sir.
And one other thing too, I've got this plat here that I asked for. This plat here shows that lot being a 85-foot front on McDonald. Y'all's little cartoon plat here, you got drawn up as I call it, showing it's a 100-foot front.
That's what I have from the Assessor County website.
I'm looking at this one here, so,
I assume that would be more accurate.
yeah.
Either way, it's a fairly narrow lot, and the idea is to join that lot in a redevelopment that includes the Waverly 1503 and 1509.
And, this one here kind of shows like there's a lot of zoning property line does not border the Waverly property line.
What he's referring to is there is actually a roadway easement that was part of the original subdivision that was never developed. There's some discrepancies. The original plat shows an unopened road. The current GIS model shows that that stops at the end of the cul-de-sac. That would all have to be verified during the survey to make sure that that portion of the roadway didn't have to be abandoned. If it did, it would have to be abandoned by the city and approved, which that would be done after the phase.
That's the difference in
Yeah.
85 and the 20.
Correct, and
I
those
believe
are all
that is correct.
steps that happen post-rezoning in surveying and other matters that relate to redevelopment.
And one thing that may help, during the last meeting, I apologize I wasn't here, I was able to watch that as an armchair quarterback and send a few text messages back and forth because I wasn't feeling that well. But the lot in question is roughly 13,000 square feet. Michael and I sat down and pulled some measurements. You hear me talking about screening, type A, type B. Essentially, this property that we're talking about currently that's going to be rezoned, because it's surrounded by 3 sides residential, would require 20-foot screening. That would only allow for roughly 4,800 square feet, give or take, of that lot to be a usable space. So that's why they would have to have both of them put together to make a development.
That's correct.
So technically, there wouldn't be much of a building that they could even build in that minor of a space.
That's
if they
correct.
didn't utilize the property where Waverly is at.
That's correct.
Yes, it could be parking, for example, building-wise, it would be very small. And I know there was some concern about the height restriction, but we discussed that at the prior meeting, and that's something else that applies to that lot, that there's really no way that whatever redevelopment occurs on that lot could be a tower necessarily.
That's all I got, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, all right. So basically, it's kind of building restrictions within itself due to
It
the small
is.
size.
It is because it's surrounded 3 sides by residential, and it requires that screening buffer for protection. Plus, there was added protection that's in the resolution also. So,
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. Any other questions, council? We have a motion and a second to approve. I see none. Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Helton. Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Chauncey.
Yes.
Councilmember Witt.
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. Ordinance 1123 passed second and final reading.
Thank you. I would be excused.
Yes. Moving to new business, item A, resolution 3014.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into an agreement with ASA Engineering for site design and construction administration services related to the Camp Jordan Soccer Complex.
Yes, Mayor and Council, the city received open 4 sealed statements of qualifications for site design and construction administration, excuse me, related to Camp Jordan Soccer Complex back on January the 16th. After reviewing the qualifications submitted from each design firm through panel discussion with that included myself, City Manager Dorsey, Assistant City Manager Custer, and Finance Director Diane Qualls, staff recommends awarding the RFQ to ASA Engineering.
All right, thank you, sir.
Mayor, if I could just add one more comment. We did have those RFQs submitted. One thing that we, the city manager and I have been discussing for some time is how we do professional services. You know, working with WWTA, some of these other organizations, they actually put these lists together so you can go out for professional services much easier. A lot of time, there's time delay for us to draft resolutions, come in, select somebody. So you go through the RFQ process, you put this bank together so you can go out and use them. If you'll notice where it says be further resolved, that the engineering firms of ASA Engineering Consulting, Barge Design Solutions, Chasen Engineering Consultants, and Los Design be kept preferred professional service list for future enhancements to Camp Jordan and other city parks. So if we ever need a specialty service, we can reach out to those individually to look at different, you know, whether it's improvements or ideas or whatever, and it'll just benefit us in the future to be able to do that. So we added it to this resolution.
He took what I was going to say this time.
Okay.
Stole your thunder.
And Mark and everything.
Anything you'd like to add?
Well, he basically kind of did a very good job, excellent job covering it. But you know, some of these we thought, you know, one might work better if we did things with the baseball area. One worked better with the soccer. You know, of course, before we entered in anything, we obviously have to come back to the council. But we just went through the whole qualification process, and this would just keep us from having to go through that part of the process for these same engineers again.
Thank you, sir. I will entertain a motion for resolution 3014.
Make a motion to approve resolution number 3014.
I'll second.
We have a motion to approve by Vice Mayor Helton and a second by Councilmember Chauncey. Do we have any discussion? Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Helton,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. Resolution passed. Item B, resolution 3015.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, authorizing the mayor to execute a contract with Southeast Tennessee Development District to provide professional grant administrative services for the local parks and recreation fund.
Ms. Powers?
Yes, Mayor and Council. This here is for our LPRF grant, which is the playground and splash pad. Southeast Tennessee Development District does a lot of grant management for us. And in the contract, you'll see that the fees do not exceed $25,000. That's actually built into the grant. So we would not be paying on top of any additional funds for this. So it would be part of our match. So in essence, we would be paying like $12,500 or whatever the, my math is going on that, but roughly about that.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll entertain a motion for resolution 3015.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Councilmember Chauncey and a second by Councilmember Witt. Do we have any discussion?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I've went back and done a little research on our LPR grants, these things, and the last grant we got like this, recreation, we had to put a notice of limitation use and attach it to our deed for the property that this money's going to be spent on. So I was wondering if that was still intact.
Yes, sir. That basically just means that we wouldn't tear down the splash pad or the playground. It just is supposed to remain a splash pad and playground in perpetuity. But we can't sell the land later on to someone else. It has to remain within the city of East Ridge and be used for those specific purposes.
Follow their LP regulations.
For as long as it remains in perpetuity, yes. And Councilman Cagle, I think that there might have been a question of usage for the property, the splash pad. Anything that we use the splash pad for, if a vendor wanted to come and sell, say, floaties or, you know, sunscreen or snacks or something, they have to abide by our purchasing rules and business rules. So we do have control over that, as well as rentals. As long as it is for the public use and not, say, fenced in and blocked off where the public can't use it within our normal operating hours, which we do set ourselves, LPRF does not. As long as we do it that way, then they can do it after hours, or if it's not fenced in, and we get, say, picnic tables or screen, large umbrellas, shade structures, you can reserve tables like that for rentals. So they do allow that. Same with the playground. As long as it's open during the regular operating hours of use, you can reserve a certain area like the picnic table or whatnot. But as far as closing it down for a private event, it would have to be after the operating hours.
And also, they cannot build a building on
If it's not in the grant, then no, it has to be, when we wrote the grant, it was for ADA accessible playground and ADA accessible splash pad. So unless it's related to that for operational use or that nature, then no, nothing extra.
Within the grant. Is that your question? Within the grant.
Using grant
They can
funds.
still build a building on the property.
Just not with the grant
Grant
funds.
funds, right. You have to go with the description that we put into the grant.
Correct, and as long as it's not hindering the use of it. So if it was, say, on the edge of the property that's not hindering the playground or the splash pad, then that would be allowable. It just wouldn't be allowed to use grant funds to build that particular building or whatever structure you're talking about.
One that's got me is, says right here, exclusively having rooms or storage areas in the facilities. These people. So they can come up here and put a building up to sell their loadies out of it, or
Are you referring to a business wanting to have a
Yeah.
building? That is,
vendor.
well, if we don't allow it, then no, sir. It's, under our rules and regulations and whatnot, if we don't want a vendor, then we don't have vendors. No, I don't see us having, a permanent person selling anything. And that wouldn't be
It's
the.
a splash pad, huh?
Exactly. It's, we're not expecting to sell snacks or sunscreen or anything of that nature. So, and rental of chairs or anything like that, if we provide shade structure or chairs or anything of that nature, it would be City of East Ridge. There would be a rental involved and people would be able to bring their own. And we may have to create rules limiting the number of lounge chairs or coolers or whatever it is that we decide to do with that particular property. But as far as contracting out with a vendor to do that, no, sir, I do not see that happening. But then again, that's up to the mayor and council to decide, but I don't see that.
Any other questions, sir? Any other questions?
No,
Okay. Anyone else? All right. Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Hilton. Yes. Councilmember Cagle.
yes,
Councilmember Chauncey.
Yes.
Councilmember Witt.
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Thank you.
And I do have copies of the contract that I'll get with you after the meeting to sign for us and Southeast Development District.
Okay, thank you. Item C, resolution number 3016.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, authorizing the city to accept a donation of used office furniture from Emerson Russell.
Yes, Mayor, Council, Mr. Russell came to us with an offer of some used office furniture he has from various business that's no longer in use, and the items that we can use in the department, in the police department, to improve some of the aging office furniture, replacing some of the aging office furniture that we have. He estimates the value of what we're looking at around $10,000.
Awesome. Thank you for the offer, Mr. Russell. We'll entertain a motion for resolution 3016.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 3016.
I second.
We have a motion from Vice Mayor Helton and a second by Councilmember Witt. Do we have any discussion?
One thing real quick.
Yes, sir.
Maybe our poor city attorney might be able to find a desk out of this form somewhere in City Hall.
But the poor mayor, maybe one too.
Y'all might have to share.
We'll just have to share.
You can share.
Luckily, our.
The intern has
Our
one now.
intern has a very good desk. We're all thankful for that.
Awesome.
1 week he gets a desk. How many years have you been here? Just checking. Okay.
Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
I didn't know we allowed him in office, so why did he get
He's out in the hall.
Vice Mayor Helton. Yes. Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Chauncey.
Yes.
Councilmember Witt.
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. All right, so we'll have a new item D, resolution 3017.
This will be resolution 3017, added pursuant to the motion taken earlier in connection with this meeting. This is this will be a resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, authorizing the city to apply for the Federal Office of Justice Program Complete Count 2020 grant in an amount up to $5,000.
We'll entertain a motion for resolution 3017 for the permission to apply for this grant.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Councilmember Chauncey and a second by Vice Mayor Helton. Any discussion? Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Helton.
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Chauncey.
Yes.
Councilmember Witt.
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. Resolution passed. We'll move to item E, discussion and review of strategic planning report. So, as everyone may or may not know, we conducted a strategic planning session. This was over a period of a couple of days, back in November, the 5th and the 25th. This was to prepare a mission statement, to work on a vision statement, to do a SWOT analysis, which is our strengths, our weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. We had tremendous input from everyone on the council. Thank you, everyone, for attending. Again, so it built our strengths, it listed our strengths, our weaknesses, the opportunities, and then our threats, like I mentioned. We went through then and we went to and started identifying goals. And what I'm doing is I'm presenting this to the council and to the citizens for their review. And we can make this public or have it on the website, or is it already?
Put it on the website.
We put it on the website. So we went through and we listed all items that we wanted to consider as identifying goals and objectives. We then went through and prioritized and ordered those top 5 and listed those. And so then the next thing we want to do is start acting upon those goals and achieving those. If you don't have a roadmap and a vision and a mission, then you're wandering around aimlessly. So that was the intent for personally me to get this started, and the participation of the council was great. So a couple things I want to say, and then I'll let the council definitely chime in, is, I think we come together and got a wonderful mission statement. That is, our mission is to provide services through effective and efficient governance, which promotes business opportunities, supports tourism, and quality of life within our diverse, inclusive, and safe neighborhoods. Our vision statement we come up with is, as the gateway to Tennessee, East Ridge strives to be the pioneer of economic progress, where all people will reach their full potential while embracing culture, recreation, and family values. I'll jump to the end in the 5 top goals that we looked at, and like I said, you can feel free to get this and read through the entire details of this. One was to create a finance plan to increase revenue and maintain fund balances. That was a key goal we want to continue to do. One of the goals, we want to build a new animal shelter. Also evaluate the need for a possible third fire hall and create a plan for building one if needed. And then build a or some dog parks, and then establish an employee retention and succession plan. Our employees is the lifeblood of our city services, so we feel that it's very important for that. I'll stop there or pause there and see if we have anyone else on the city manager as well. You were involved in this, so if anyone else would like to comment on our strategic planning session and our direction?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the planning session. I mean, I really think that it was really productive in us tossing around some ideas. I'd like to see us maybe do it more often. It's kind of more of a relaxed setting, and so I really enjoyed it.
And we learned things about each other too in the planning session.
We did learn a few things.
Yeah.
What stayed in the planning session? So
Right.
it said in the planning session, stays in the planning session. Okay. Anyone else? Okay, great. One thing that I'll say is I am probably going to challenge some of our council members going forward to look at some of these goals and opportunities and see if they'll take on one of these tasks and lead the charge on these. So like Ms. Councilmember Witt's taking the complete count committee and the census. So I'd love to see someone or anyone or all of us take some of these items and continue to move forward with them.
I do want to stress one thing though real quick. There wasn't a lot of attendance from the public at the planning session, but it was an open advertised meeting that we had for that. So we'd love to have people come, see how we work.
Absolutely. All right.
Everything's going to be on the website. I think we posted on the website.
Yes, that's, I don't want anyone to have to do an open records request. It's something we're transparent and pushing these forward. So yes, Ms. Bowers, we're going to have this on the website, correct?
As soon as you send it to me, it will be.
Okay. All right, that's all that I have for item, what was that, E? So we'll move into our item F now, which is discussion of tentative agenda for February 13th, 2020 council meeting. We have a unique situation here, and I'm going to bring something up here. The only item that we have at this point in time is declaration of surplus property. So, similar to what Ms. Witt did, I may ask the council to consider making a motion, or I make a motion to possibly cancel the 13th meeting, or at least provide me with the opportunity to cancel that at a later date if we have no business. If we have additional business that occurs, of course we'll have the meeting.
Things may come up.
Because things may come up. And so I don't want to cancel it, make a motion to cancel it now, and we may have items that come up, but I don't want to have to call a meeting to cancel a meeting. So if the will of the council is to pass, and we'll ask our attorney on this, pass that authorization for cancellation of that meeting to meet the mayor, and we'll decide, working with city manager, if we have any business or not to have, then we can cancel that possibly early on, first of that week. Mr. Litchford, what are your thoughts?
Make sure more of the charter.
I know we're required to have one.
So the charter requires that we hold a regular meeting at least once a month. And so you have the authority to cancel one if there is, as long as you have one, is what the charter requires under section 5D. So you can make the motion. If you decide you want to cancel it, you can cancel it. I like the idea that it's still on unless otherwise notice is provided that it's been canceled. I wouldn't cancel now. and try-
Agreed, absolutely, it's not what. So I'll entertain a motion if anyone would like to do that, or we can plan to have a meeting as called.
I make a motion to plan accordingly when we cancel the meeting, was it 13th?
Yes.
So you want to make a motion to give the mayor authority to cancel the meeting if no other business is whatever. by that time?
I want to make a motion to give the mayor authority to cancel the meeting if we have no other business.
No other further.
Provided there's no business. Yeah.
That's for the agenda.
Correct. So this, to be clarified, would limit the mayor's authority in the event that there is other matters on the agenda. The mayor can't just cancel it.
Perfect.
We gotta have a meeting.
All right.
Too much notifications.
Really, under the state law, there's no notification requirement time on anytime you want to remove a meeting, it's to add a meeting, to have a meeting is the, really, it's adequate notice, which is not really a great definition, but to, at least pass the meeting, there is no, I would think that we would know by.
We would know by that Monday, we
Yeah,
would
'cause-
normally put the agenda together for you.
Right.
Exactly, because you're collectively putting the agenda together by Monday, so we would know by Monday lunchtime, whether or not we have any additional business. So the announcement would come out Monday, if we cancel.
So if there's no announcement, it's still on.
Correct. That is correct. So we have a motion. It's the will of the council. I'm good either way. Just say it. You seconded? I'm sorry. I missed that. Okay, so we do have a motion from Councilmember Witt and a second by Vice Mayor Helton. Do we have any other discussion? Questions? Roll call, Ms. Mosley.
Vice Mayor Helton,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. All right, well, to reiterate, the only item we have is the declaration of surplus property this time, and that's not a critical item. So if we don't have anything else, council, I'll adjourn this meeting.